First story. OP cut ties with his family after finding out his wife of 10 years cheated on him with his brother, and his entitled mom supported them and gave OP a list of demands his ex-wife wants after handing over divorce papers. But they have 11 children and don't know if they are his or not. I, 46M, and my wife, 38F, have been nagging me non-stop about having another baby that I don't want. For a little bit of insight, I already had 7 children before I met my wife. I had 4 of them living with me full-time, and 3 of them I had split custody with. When I met my beautiful wife, she had a 4-month-old daughter that I absolutely adored. After we got married, we had a few children of our own, so our lives are pretty hectic. We are finally at a point where we are stable. I don't have to work as much and can be home with the family more. I'm so overjoyed because I didn't really get the option to spend much time with them, but now I can. Giving now, my wife went from suggesting to saying that we were fighting all the time about having a baby, to her complaining that she's always had 5 children and that I was taking her dream away from her. My wife also said our 3-year-old is getting too big and that she would like to have a baby now before she gets old. And what's it about me having another one when I already have 7? Giving her another baby is the least I can do, especially because she raised my children, taking the best years of her life away from her. She didn't even want to take care of them. She only did it out of obligation to me. I was very hurt when she said those things, especially about our children, because some of my children were really young when we got together, and they called her mom. I tried to explain to her that the things she was saying were hurtful and that it wasn't fair to me to have to go back to working more to provide for another baby, especially when we already have a 7, a 5, and a 3-year-old together, on top of having 10, 13, 16, and an 18-year-old living in the house while trying to help our 21-year-old move out. Telling her that we already have so much on our plate, and adding another baby right now just isn't a good idea, on top of the fact that she almost died giving birth to our youngest. We both had to go to therapy because of it, and now she wants another one. It blows my mind. Which turned into a bigger fight. Her saying some really mean things that I really don't want to repeat just in case my children read this. My wife yelled at me and called me the biggest a-hole she's ever met. Not to talk to her because it seems to be a waste of time. She is now gone and is staying with her mother as of right now. I've tried texting and calling her. She's not responding. It has been 3 days since then. I really don't know what to do. I can't give her a child. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I had a vasectomy after she nearly died giving birth to our youngest. I never thought we would have another baby after everything we went through. Relevant comments. This is actually insane. Another user replies, 10 biological children and 1 stepdaughter. I am more surprised he thinks 11 is fine, but 12 is effing insane. His wife is clearly off her rocker, thinking another baby will improve her life. Everyone in this story is batshit crazy. Those poor 11 kids. She reminds me of the Duggar mom, who loves being pregnant and loves babies, but doesn't really want to parent the one she has. If she loves babies so much, she can volunteer with them or work at a daycare with babies. No more kids, please. Stick to your guns. Talk to your original 7 kids. She sounds like an evil stepmother, from what you have alluded to. I'm only hearing one side to be fair, but the nasty comments about wasting her precious years on your other bio kids are really SHTTY. Also, for full disclosure, how many kids into total? 7 from you previously, and 1 from her previously, so how many combined? Because I don't remember reading a number. OP's reply. To answer your question, we have 11 children together. I have 7 before her. She had 1 before me, and we had 3 together. I do plan on talking to the older children. Thank you so much for your advice. How much money are you making so you can support so many children in this economy? Also, does your wife work? If not, it's a huge ask for her to want another child that she isn't financially contributing to, which may be part of the problem. She may not quite grasp the financial commitment that comes with having yet another child. OP's reply. To be honest with you, not enough. I had to work 2 jobs on top of doing odd jobs to survive. No, my wife does not work. Her main focus is the children. That was her choice. But when my grandfather passed away, he left me a large sum of money on top of 2 houses. I truly love that man, because if it weren't for him, I would definitely be drowning. Update. 1 day after the original post. I don't actually know if this is how you do an update, but this is how I'm going to do it. To be honest with you, I really didn't think this would get very many responses. I truly appreciate everyone's feedback and advice, especially all the positive ones. I do appreciate the mean ones too. They give me a new point of view on things. I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions. Yes, my wife did leave me home alone with all the children when she left. Yes, we did discuss how many children we would have. Actually, it took us about 3 years of discussing it, and we decided to only have 1 or 2. Our third was a happy, terrifying surprise. As for the vasectomy, I did not directly tell her. A lot of people are asking how she wouldn't have known that I had a vasectomy. She left me at that time. The reason we went to therapy was because I refused to be intimate with her. To be honest, I was terrified of getting her pregnant again, and then her dying. Those were some pretty hard times. Our therapist suggested that one of us or both of us get fixed. I thought that was a brilliant idea. My wife, on the other hand, thought that was a little bit extreme. But I did do what I had to do to fix my problem. We also went to great lengths to discuss having another child. We both decided that her life was way more important than that, and that we wouldn't have any more children. So when she said she always wanted 5, I have no idea where that came from. I do plan on having a family meeting with the older children and discussing things with them about how she treated them and seeing how that goes. Hopefully it goes well. I'm a little bit nervous. I did hear from my my mother-in-law. She told me that my wife wasn't coming home anytime soon. But she will see me at my mother's Thanksgiving. I did take the week off due to my wife not being here, so I can take care of the children. On a side note, my daughter E, who is 21 years old, has been acting weird. After R, the 18-year-old, showed her my Reddit story. E asked me if she could talk to me privately after the family meeting. I did try to persuade her to tell me now. She said that she didn't have enough time and that she had to get going for work. Needless to say, I'm really stressed out. Relevant comments. I find it very telling that a woman desperate for another child ups and leaves the children she already has to go sulk at her mother's house. It sounds like your daughter caught your wife doing something and is waiting to tell you. Maybe she is already pregnant, and you have a secret vasectomy cornered, and now she'll have to come clean. Hence why she fled to her mom's and isn't coming back. Okay, hear me out. The infidelity angle is very likely the answer, but I was also thinking of another possibility. It sounds like OP's wife might be one of those people who loves having babies, but not children. When they married, she had a 4-month-old child. But he brought 4 free babysitters to the marriage, and she played mommy when it was good for her, when it got her attention and presence, and she could feel absolute power over someone, and also that someone needs her to live, which strokes her ego, and the rest of the time, it was probably left up to the older children. Now the youngest is 3 when kids start developing autonomy and asking, but why? All the time, like seriously, all the time. And she's not interested in the job anymore. She's got baby fever. And the 21-year-old, who is in the process of finally escaping the weight of raising her siblings, doesn't want to get pulled back in. And she doesn't want that weight passed on to her siblings. But she never told her dad about anything, because he already had so much on his shoulders, and she didn't want to bother him. And I'd be willing to bet that just because this is the first time the mom has been honest with the OP about her opinion regarding his children, it's not the first time the daughter is hearing it. Anyway, thank you for coming to my story time. It's probably infidelity. I just wanted to explore an alternate ending. Update 2. 6 days after the original post. I know you all have been waiting for an update. A lot has happened, and I needed some time to process it. Thank you to all those who reached out to me to make sure I was okay. Family meeting. I learned that my wife was a good mom or stepmother, but she was a horrible biological mother to M. That was a hard pill to swallow. I learned that she was pregnant. I also learned that my youngest child may not be mine. All I have to say is that I wish the family meeting had gone differently. Day of Thanksgiving. My wife did show up. I tried contacting her several times before the get-together. I told her that I knew she was pregnant and that we needed to talk, but I never got a response. Every time I tried to talk to her at the get-together, my brother DCK would get in my way. DCK would tell me to leave her alone, man, or don't bring up drama here. All I have to say is that I was getting really sick of him. It was time to sit down to eat. She didn't sit by me. She was set up by DCK. I thought that was really weird, but it all made sense when she made her announcement. She told everyone that she was pregnant with DCK's child and that she would like a divorce, so she and DCK can have the relationship they deserve. But what hurts the most is when my mother says, I thought we were going to wait until after the holidays. After that, it turned into a SHT show. I gathered up all the children and left except for P, M, and I. They wanted to stay with their mother. I didn't have the energy to fight them. Before I left, my mother handed me divorce papers and a list of demands for my wife. I will be speaking with my lawyer on Monday. I do plan on getting counseling and therapy for me and the children. I also had to go back and pick up P and M because my wife left them behind and told them that she didn't want them. I had a long conversation with my mother. I decided that I would be cutting her out of my life. She's always been a mother. Relevant comments. Your mother handed you the drawn-up divorce papers so your wife can marry your brother. Wow. That's a special selection of toxics right there. Going without contact seems to be just what the doctor ordered. Good luck to you and your kids. I'm so sorry, OP. I don't know what the laws are where you live, but since she cheated, abandoned her children, and is currently pregnant with her affair partner, your brother, she is not in much of a legal position to make demands. In fact, you could probably take her to the cleaners for child support. I hope she gets what's coming to her. Good luck. Second story. My golden child sister forcefully kissed my husband and told everyone that she was having an affair with him, ruining his life because I'm pregnant, and she is not the center of attention anymore. Still, my entitled mother is supporting her. Okay, so the key players in this story are me, F27, my husband Karim, 40, my little sister Tasha, 13, and my mom, 58. For context, my mom and dad had Tasha as a last resort to fix their failing marriage. I'm nearly 9 months pregnant, like legit, 3 weeks out, and my husband is a second-generation immigrant. We weren't trying, but we were excited when we found out about the baby. We waited until we were out of the first trimester and told everyone after that. Karim's family is super excited and can't wait to bring the baby to their home country. My mom was happy when we told her, but I made some grumbling remarks about being too young to be a grandma. I presumed she was joking. My dad, whom we told separately, gets along great with my husband, and he said he would help Karim and me with anything baby related. At first, Tasha was excited to talk about how she was the youngest aunt, and it was cute. She is spoiled. I don't want to call her a brat, but she can get an attitude when things don't happen how she wants. But then, once we told everyone we were having a girl, she went quiet. We didn't make a big announcement. We just told people when we saw them. We both have busy jobs, and I kept working until recently. Luckily, I can work remotely if needed. My dad was excited to be a girl granddad, and in some ways I've been closer with him since the divorce. My mom put all her effort into Tasha, making sure she was okay as she was the youngest. She's a bit of a golden child for my mom. Karim's family got him a t-shirt that has a joke about being a girl's dad on it. I've always said he gives off girl dad energy, so it's funny. When I got big, around the 5-month mark, I was really ill. I had hyperemesis gravidarum and was admitted to the hospital. I have a heart condition, so there was always concern about side effects during the pregnancy. Tasha refused to visit me in the hospital, meaning my mom didn't come either. But I understood why a 13-year-old might not want to come to a hospital. However, she has become so standoffish and rude to myself and my husband. Scoffing when we talk about baby girl, joking how emotional I was, saying more trouble than it's worth with my heart. She said we stole her favorite name when we announced it as Adley. She's never said that name before. She also joked about how fat I had gotten. Karim had enough and told her to grow up. But my mom defended Tasha, saying she's probably just a bit jealous about no longer being the youngest in the family anymore. I tried to talk and ask her what's wrong, but she got an attitude again and told me I made everything about my baby and myself. We were discussing my birthing plan on family FaceTime and how I have to have a planned C-section to reduce the stress on my heart. I'm a bit nervous, but I've had surgery before. I was trying to get my dad to calm Karim down and asked if he'd be in the waiting room. He was really happy and asked if he could bring his good friend. We all know she's his girlfriend, but they won't admit it. He thinks he's too old for that. She's been sweet and knitted some baby blankets, so we agreed to her visiting after the birth. I got a call from my mom and Tasha, who were really angry that I hadn't invited them to the birth, or told them I had to have a planned C-section. I told them Tasha had complained about me only speaking about the baby, and my mom told me to not be so flippant. Tasha was rolling her eyes when mom asked about the surgery, and I know she's 13, but something about it seems so calculated to her. My mom asked to be there, and I said she could be in the waiting room, if she would be nice to Dad. Tasha started talking about how long it would take, but I informed her she was only invited to visit after Adley had been born. Now her and mom are blowing up, saying I'm cruel for letting a random friend of Dad's visit, but not letting my little sister be there for her niece's birth. I'm sad, as I hoped the pregnancy would bring my mom and me closer, but alas, edit. I just remembered something else that happened. Tasha walked into our garden one afternoon without any notice to tell us, and she saw us making out on the swing chair. Nothing scandalous, but my hormones have been all over the place. She made a comment like, "No wonder you're pregnant if that's all that you do." She's also been perfectly nice to Karam throughout the pregnancy. It's just me she has the attitude with. Edit 2. As some people can't seem to understand, I'll reiterate. I've tried connecting to Tasha. I've tried communicating and comforting her. And I've tried getting her excited about being an auntie. She's made cruel comments about my weight. I used to have an ED. How I'm an attention seeker to get pregnant. She's literally slammed a door in me, causing me to hurt myself. She's been all over my husband, but ignoring me to my face. And she's made a comment about me not keeping my legs shut. This isn't about her being confused. She knows what childbirth and pregnancy are. She also banned our mom from visiting me when I was rushed to the hospital and had complained about me talking about the baby. So I didn't include her in the conversation about the birth. She's not angry because I'm trying to keep her away from the baby. She's angry because I'm pregnant, and she will no longer be the youngest girl. I'd like to add that the family dynamic was pretty good until I got pregnant. She was mom's favorite, but dad doesn't do favorites. Update. 2 days later. I want to address the comments saying I'm a bad sister. I hate Tasha, and I need to reassure and comfort her and show her sympathy. We had a normal sister relationship until I announced my baby was a girl. Then she got an attitude change, but only with me. I've been trying to reach out and ask her reasons for being so horrible to me, calling me names and saying things about my baby, but she ignores me and won't talk to me. So I don't know what else I'm expected to do. I appreciate that being a 13-year-old girl is hard. I was one once, but I didn't act like this. It's not my place to have to parent Tasha when she has 2 parents, a mom who spoils her, and when I'm about to have my own baby. My pregnancy has been hard and risky, and there is still a chance my daughter could be born with my heart defect. This and all of the stress caused by my mom and Tasha have meant I've not been able to enjoy my pregnancy. I had hoped it would make our mom want to be involved with me more, but unfortunately, Tasha has done everything she can to ensure my mom has not been involved or helpful. While my husband is patient and polite, he doesn't like the way they are treating me, and he certainly doesn't like the pressure it has put on me. Tasha and mom turned up unannounced at our house today, wanting another explanation as to why they couldn't be at the hospital. I again said that as long as mom was civil to dad, she could be in the waiting room, but Tasha would have to visit after I'd rested and made sure the baby girl was okay. I said she had moaned for all of my pregnancy that it's all I ever talk about, so surely she knew there were reasons to want to be there. She got angry and threw a mug at the wall, saying she wanted to be there as that's where everyone else would be, and she shouldn't have to be on her own and bored. I told her it was not a fun day out. I would be having major surgery, and people wanted to meet my daughter. She screamed, saying I'm an attention W for not giving birth the normal way, and demanded that our mom go home, so they left as quickly as they had arrived. I don't know what my mom plans on doing, but yeah. Update. 3 days later. Hi guys, I'm just really effing confused right now, but thank you all for following my story and giving me advice. Rest assured, we won't be leaving Adley alone with Tasha. If you want context, my first 2 posts are on my profile. Basically, after giving birth yesterday, I had to stay in for a week as it was an emergency surgery. As we had rushed to the hospital, we didn't have all the things I would need, so Karam went home to pack a bag of my things for me. He stopped at my dad's, and apparently Tasha was with him. Karam was polite, and dad was asking lots of questions about Adley and me. He left the room to get the presents he and his girlfriend had gotten for us, and Karam was left with Tasha. Apparently she was all over him, but not asking any questions about myself or Adley. Karam said she threw herself at him and tried to kiss him, but he swerved and got up abruptly, telling my dad that they needed to do something with Tasha as she was out of control. He told me what happened as soon as he got back to the hospital. He's really worried that people like my mother will make him out to be a bad person. I think my dad has cameras in his house, so I'm going to ask him if there are any in the hallway. Edit. Tasha has texted me. It's safe to say she's not being abused. And no, my mother doesn't have any male friends in the house. Tasha sent me a text saying she was sorry for trying to kiss Karam, but I've stolen everyone's attention, and apparently even our mother was asking about me yesterday. She sometimes literally refers to our mother as her mother. She then said I had to make it all about me by having Adley early, and she wanted someone to pay attention to her and felt like Karam hadn't spent enough time with her recently. He's been kind to Tasha in the past. We've had her at our house and taken her on trips, but he's obviously been busy making sure me and the baby have been okay during the pregnancy. Edit 2. Thanks for the support, guys. I developed a blood clot last night, so I was rushed into another surgery to deal with that, and Karam called my dad's GF to stay with him as he was nervous and my dad was with Tasha. She helped keep him calm by all accounts and showed him how to bathe Adley, which I'm very thankful for. She also baked me my favorite cake when I woke up this morning. It was so effing good anyway. Anyway, Karam is fuming with my mother and Tasha about how they've ruined this experience for us. And he wants to send my mother my hospital bill, as I wouldn't have needed the emergency surgeries without the stress. We're going to take a trip once I'm released from the hospital to the countryside to get some distance between us and them. Update. Hi guys. I've just been busy soaking up all of the baby happiness. I'm doing well. Thank you all for your well wishes, and to moms for giving advice on how to recover from C-sections. Adley is such a sweet little girl. She's quiet and so well behaved, and she looks the most adorable in her little Taylor Swift cardigan that my dad's friend knitted her. She played all of the albums in utero. We've sent mom the hospital bill. I'm not actually sure whether I'll go through with making her pay, as we have better salaries than she does, but a little part of me would love to see her face right now. She's sent me some annoyed texts about it, but I've told her that perhaps Tasha's allowance and clothes beauty spending should be reduced to help. But we will see. Update. Hi y'all. I'm not even sure if people want an update, but people do still comment on the other posts. So 3 months after my last update, I'd recovered from surgery, and Karam Adley and I had been able to go on a trip to the countryside to distress. When I got a random DM on Instagram and looked at her, she was following Tasha. Let's call her Lily. Well, Lily tells me that she needs to ask me something because Tasha has been telling their friend group something worrying. I bet you don't know what I'm going to say. Tasha had been going around school saying that she and my husband were having an affair. I couldn't even respond. I was so effing livid. Never mind how weird it is for her. It's so dangerous to be saying that even among her friends. It puts my husband at such a risk of being accused of awful things. So that was it. I'd had enough. I floored it to my mother's house and slammed in to find Tasha. She was sitting there like nothing was happening and just smirking, making my blood boil. I'll admit, I lost it a bit and screamed at her that she was unhinged and needed to be locked up. It wasn't normal for a 14-year-old girl to want her sister's husband and life. Our mom came in, asking what the hell was wrong with me. I grabbed both Tasha and my mother by their shirts and said she had 1 week to sort her SHT out because we were going to the police for defamation. I just wanted to go home and snuggle my baby. But I stopped at my dad's and filled him in and told him what I'd told Mom and Tasha. He was completely floored. Lily was good. She said she didn't think what Tasha had been saying was real and thought I needed to know. And she said she told the others that Tasha was lying. I got some messages from my mom that night about me projecting my feelings about not being a good enough mother or wife onto Tasha. I don't breastfeed, and at that time was still on maternity leave because of the C-section. But I intended to not be off work too long, would be sending her to daycare, and made a comment on my weight, knowing how I was scared of struggling with my ED again postpartum. Tasha had told her she had no clue what I was talking about. She really knew where to hit me, I won't lie. Karam told me to put my phone away and rest, so I did. And when I woke up, Adley was in the bath, and Karam had ordered us food. We consulted with our lawyer and made a statement to the police about all of the abuse and lies we'd suffered from Tasha and my mom. We were told that they were both warned to stop. Otherwise, they would try to press charges. I've tried to avoid them, although I've heard them berating me and my parenting through others. We went to Turkey to see Karam's family for Christmas, and it was lovely. Not religious. Third story. OP stormed off from the homophobic sister's gender reveal party after she told OP to not reveal he is gay because she didn't want her friends to think her baby would be raised by gays who would turn her baby into gay, and he would eventually get bullied. I 29M have been with my boyfriend, Rob 31M, for just over a year. We are out to our families and friends as a couple. I came out at 22 years old. My younger sister, Sarah 24F, announced her pregnancy to my immediate family 2 months ago. My mom 55F and Sarah have been planning her gender reveal party ever since. It's a grand occasion with nearly every person she's ever known, plus our entire family. It's all being funded by my mother since Sarah's her golden child. My siblings and I were supportive of all the fanciness since it's the first grandkid in the family. I received my official invitation over text 2 weeks ago. In that message, Sarah said I would be free to bring Rob, as she knows that we're basically inseparable, and that he's practically a part of the family now. I replied that I would be coming and bringing Rob. Fast forward 2 weeks to last night, the big night. Rob and I got to the party a little early to help set up like my mom had asked us to do. As soon as we entered the house, Sarah ushered us off to the side and quietly asked us to not act so couple-wide tonight. I was kind of shocked, but I thought it was because she didn't want anything to overshadow her big day. Rob seemed kind of annoyed. But we agreed to not do anything embarrassing and started to help Mom set up. Everything went okay for an hour or so, and then we sat down to eat. Rob and I sat across from this girl and guy, who apparently were a couple. We started talking, and we really hit it off. At some point, the guy made a joke, something along the lines of, "Hey, you better not be flirting with my girlfriend." I laughed and joked back, saying that I wouldn't want to start a fight with my boyfriend. We laughed about it. I noticed Sarah getting up from the head of the table and storming over. She asked to talk to me and pulled me away from the table to yell at me for telling her friends that Rob and I were dating after she asked me not to. I was confused and said that she asked us to not act couple Y, but not pretend that we aren't one. She got mad and told me that it was the same thing. I asked what was so wrong with a couple of friends finding out about my relationship. She said it was because she didn't want her friends to know that her baby would be raised around the LGBT community. At that point, I was stunned. She has never been anything but supportive of me. I left her standing there and went back to the table. The couple sitting across from us asked why we were leaving so soon, and I told them that my sister didn't want a couple of gay guys around her kid, so I'm just respecting her wishes a little early. We grabbed our stuff and left. My phone has been blowing up with texts. Sarah cusses me out for leaving the party and disobeying her wishes, and Mom begs to know why I left early. At this point, I don't care about Sarah or her kid, but I feel like I should have just apologized and shut up instead of causing a ton of drama. So, Ada, in the comments, her fiancé's family is very pro-choice, pro-LGBTQ, and anti-gun. I don't get where her sudden homophobia is coming from. Update 2 days later. Thanks for all the comments and advice, everyone. Rob and I really appreciate it. Yesterday morning, I had a phone call with Mom, and I told her everything that Sarah had said. She was appalled and told me she was sorry before hanging up and telling every family member she has contact with. My phone has been blowing up with texts from everyone ever since. The family is divided into 3 sides: mine, hers, or both of us suckers. I have had many texts asking why I would want to flaunt my gayness at a party that is supposed to showcase the normal way, traditional straight couples and having kids via pregnancy. I had a sit down at my house with Rob, Mom, and Sarah this morning. Sarah arrived in tears and refused to look at me. I finally convinced her to talk when I asked her, "I want to know why you said what you said." She looked at me and told me that she was sorry, but didn't want any gay guys around her kid. I asked her why. "Because I'm afraid it'll turn my baby gay. I don't want them to get bullied." Rob laughed, told her she was an idiotic bee, and left the room. I was incredibly upset as well, but I stayed for a minute to tell her that she was wrong, and that you cannot be turned gay. That you are simply born gay. I told her to think about it and let me know if she still thought that way. If she thought about it and did, I'd be out of contact with her for the foreseeable future. I told her I still loved her, but that boundaries needed to be set as she had hurt and disrespected my partner and me. Both of them left. I spent a long time consoling Rob. I also want to note that I did, in fact, tell my youngest, gossipy brother about it all right after I told Mom. He says he never wants to be involved with Sarah again. I feel so bad that I'm dividing the family. Just a few minutes ago, I got a call from Sarah, who said that she was very sorry. She had discussed it with her fiancé, and he reiterated everything that I had said about being born gay. She told me that she had allowed fear to control her senses. I asked her if she would still love the kid if they turned out LGBTQ+. She said absolutely. She begged me to reconsider going no contact, as she wanted Rob and me to be a part of her kid's life. I told her that I would be going low contact as she had still hurt us, but I would be available if she needed me. I told her that if she disrespects us or our relationship again, I will go no contact. She agreed and asked to apologize to Rob. He listened to her and agreed to be in the baby's life, but he told me that he would not socialize with her unless absolutely necessary. I agreed. I have come to the conclusion that if Rob and I get married, we will elope. If we adopt a child or children, or even a pet, she will never be alone with them. I do not trust her completely, but I do still love her. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.